Record. All right, everybody. It is time to get this party started for our A Year of Yes mentorship call, and I'm really excited about the topic for this evening is, and like the theme that I came up with for November, it's called Unlimiting Your Beliefs. So this idea of I think that everything that we do, I think it's really easy in coaching and just in goal setting in general to talk a lot about strategy and like taking action. And I think that that's really great. And I'm all about action. But this month and like this class or this session and the next one is really about our thoughts and looking at our thoughts from a couple different perspectives. And today I'm going to share one of the tools that I use in my work that I have found to be super, super powerful in unlimiting my beliefs around the work that I do, because I think that that is really the foundation of like, it's not just the actions we're taking, but it's from the, like really thinking about where those actions are coming from. Are actions coming out of fear or doubt or scarcity, or are those actions coming from joy, love, and abundance? So what I'm going to do is I am going to read a little bit of an article to help us kind of understand this concept. I'm going to show you an image of what that looks like, and we're going to just talk about what are the beliefs that you think are serving you, stopping you in your way, all of that. So let me pull up this article real quick that I was just reading. So the idea of like roots to fruits in general, and it'll make more sense when you see, what I'll do is I'll share this image so you can see this while I'm talking. What's up, Lisa? Hey, I think you're muted, but I can unmute you.
There we go.
There we go.
I'm in my car and I have to drive to my office, so I'm just going to listen in. How's that?
That's perfect. We're glad that you are here. Welcome, welcome. This is, I'm going to do a little bit of a story time here.
Okay.
I'm going to show you. So don't look if you're driving.
Yeah, right.
You can watch it later. It's all recording. So this, the image went away. So, oh man, I keep clicking on the wrong thing. I want to make this smaller so that I can have both of these up. There we go. That's what I want to do. So here we have our lovely roots to fruits, and I'm going to post this image in the Year of Yes mentorship group. So really, the roots are the stories that we tell ourselves, beliefs, our habits, fear, our sense of worthiness. All of these are like these things kind of underneath the surface. And a lot of people focus on the fruits. Like, I want more money, or I want better relationships. I want different results. I want more clients. Or like, I want to feel more motivated, right? So looking at this tree and looking at like a lot of times we're focused on the things that we want, like the fruits, but we might not have roots that are really serving the types of fruits that we want. So if we're not having like the money or the types of relationships or the level of happiness that we want, it's really looking at planting new roots, new beliefs, new ways of seeing the world. So I'm just going to share this little story with you. And I want this image to be up, so maybe we can have kind of both so you can see all of the things, so to speak, here. So I'm not going to read this whole thing. I'll read from the beginning, but then I won't read. I want to share an incredible story today about a woman I get to call a client. She inspires me every single week, not just because she shows up and does the work, but because she reminds me what is possible when we dig into the depths of who we are and open a new door. Before I get to her story, let's talk about this a little. What does it mean to dig into our depths? First, here's a little myth I had to learn the hard way. Changing something that's going wrong in your life isn't simply about closing the gap. But we've been taught this, right? In fact, I think the International Coaching Federation description of coaching is to the effect of success is helping you close the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Here's the thing. Change isn't horizontal, it's vertical. Let me explain. Closing the gap is external. For example, trying a new strategy for growing your business or building a new plan for staying healthy. These two things are outside of you. Now, I agree that change can occur here and that you can alter how you do something and experience a different result. But I don't think you want to merely alter something. I think you're ready to experience a transformation in your life. This may be a stretch, but think about it. Why do we hire a therapist, work with a coach, attend a conference, read the trendy self-help books, take classes on meditation and prayer, build in rituals? We don't embark upon these things to alter single habits like eating chocolate or fighting with our spouse. We embark on these things because we're searching for an easier, more fulfilling, and more peaceful way of living our life. This isn't a minor change. It's a calling from the self and the soul to dramatically shift how we do life. Something that radically shifts how you see yourself and the world, which creates not just a new result, but a whole new way of living. Transformation is vertical. Transformation requires you to go into the depths of who you are and ask questions like, and I'm going to post these questions. I'll post this article in the group because I think they're really, really juicy questions. What does playing big mean to me? Right? We've been exploring that book, and I think some of you have read it and finished it. What does playing big mean to me? What great impact am I here to create? What self-limiting stories are on repeat? What does total fulfillment look and feel like? What is so compelling about the way I live my life? What scares me? What inspires me? Even if you answer one question, answer it. If you do this, I can promise that you'll discover a glimpse of your depth and the things that make you, you. I call this depth your roots. And I know this for sure. The roots you plant, here's the key. This is like the key here. The roots you plant are the fruits you reap. Most of us begin doing change work on the fruits. We employ new strategies for more money, happier partnerships, more successful businesses, motivation, and fulfillment. But what's possible if you dug just a little into your roots? Imagine what it would feel like to be able to totally surrender, to be able to slow down, breathe, and create a life that is meaningful and deeply satisfying. Imagine if you could create a business from peace of mind and not begin with burnout or marketing strategies. Imagine totally trusting that money flows to you. This happens in your roots. Here is what I believe to be true with the entire essence of my being and every fiber in my body. Change your root, shift what you plant, and you'll never have to struggle with the details again. Big promise, I know. And she shares a story of one of her clients about going into her roots and talking about, it's not that much longer, so I'm just going to read it because I think it's helpful to have an example, because what I want to have time for today is to dig into yours. So maybe hearing this story will be helpful. So Lisa, like so many women, is like so many women. Her story is significant because it demonstrates the power of going into our roots. Lisa came to me just before the first leaf fell this fall, wanting to radically grow her business. Lisa is a healer and a recovery coach. She is a single mom with 2 awesome children. She loves her work and is in her purpose lane. Success wasn't new for her, but she was in a rut. She felt something big was on the horizon, but how to get there? I describe Lisa as on purpose, intuitive, and curious. She's a go-getter, hardworking, independent, and intelligent. Lisa is an empath, a nurturer, and searching for something bigger than her. She had talked to several other coaches about strategy and goals for making some big changes in the coming months. And then she came to me. Here's the thing. I don't do strategy. In our first 2 hours together, I shared that with her that no strategy or goal would compensate for a story that was no longer serving her. This story was one of her roots, and she was seeing the fruits of this every day. The old root story was, it's not safe to be on my own. The story may be so simple, but as we peeled back the layers, she discovered how the story was not allowing her to be the incredible recovery coach and business owner she could be. It was keeping her business from thriving and ultimately her life from ease. We never talked about action steps. We never coached around new ideas. We never discussed growth tactics. We let go of the story and wrote a different one. She planted a new root. And then something that even surprised me happened. She organically and effortlessly grew her business. Lisa's revenue increased by 400% in less than 90 days. Her transformative coaching program received plenty of applicants, and she had to turn people away. She ended a toxic relationship safely and confidently. She decluttered her entire home, painted furniture, and made her space a place that inspired her for the first time in her life. The most remarkable part, she now practices the art of surrender and allowing every day. She's at peace. Here's the magical part. We never talked about strategy for any of her new success. She created this 100% on her own because we planted a new root. Her new root grew into fruits of money, collaboration, peace, and safety. I've never met a single human being that doesn't have a story that isn't interfering with the greatest and grandest vision of their life. A root that is not producing the kind of fruit you want. If you want better relationships, more money, better health, successful business, happiness, then let's dive into your stories, beliefs, habits, purpose, fear, and self-worth. Most of us trying to prune the tree when we need to have a look at what we've planted. So what if you could create the kind of results Lisa did with one story, one root? And that's what I want to talk about today. Sound good? So I just want to hear, before we dive into this, what did you hear from that story? What did you get out of it? Anyone can share any thoughts, ahas, or insights just from that story before I dive in a little bit more?
The inner work. Everything is inside that you can do or stop yourself from doing.
It's the inner game, the inner work, the mindset stuff, right? Yeah. What else? Anything else?
I love the analogy of the tree. It's representative of very clear.
Yeah. Obviously I love metaphors, right? Jill or Jackie, did you have anything to add before I keep talking, diving in?
I don't think so.
Okay. You good? What you smiling at, Jackie? You're like, that's my thing, the roots.
Yeah, I've also, it's really interesting to see it in this context because I do this in the context of trauma, and the roots is from a trauma lens, and the just events of trauma that have occurred, and then how the leaves represent the behaviors, and so it's interesting to look at it through the diagram that you showed.
Yeah. Like
and the similarities and
a different way of looking at it, for sure.
Yeah, and just thinking about like the things that come up for me when we're, trying to move towards what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the interesting thing. So when I'm working with people and they come to me and they're like, I have these ideas, and I think a lot of resistance comes from like, maybe I have these big goals or these dreams where I want to grow my business. And there's a lot of resistance because there's like a part of this is like about alignment. Like there isn't a story to support your success, or there's stories that may be in the way. Like if I don't feel worthy, if I don't feel like I can be successful or I can be happy, if there's something underlying that, it doesn't matter what I do. It doesn't matter the strategies that I take, right? And so the other interesting thing about this diagram, as you're looking here, is this kind of reflects our unconscious beliefs. Like there's like 99 billion bits of data that we're unconsciously processing all the time. And that's happening down here in our roots. Mm-hmm. So it sometimes isn't stuff that we're even aware of or even conscious of until we kind of start to explore what might be stopping me. Like if I'm not taking action around something, it might not be because I don't know what action to take. It might be because I don't believe that I have a story that's worth sharing. So why would I reach out to a conference to apply to speak if I don't believe that I have a powerful message to share? But if I have a root that's like, I have a story worth hearing, I'm gonna reach out to like every conference in the world and say, I want to speak on your stage. And so it's not always the strategy. It's starting with these stories. And I guess what I was saying about like there's like 99 billion bits of data that we're processing all the time unconsciously. And this is like, I think consciously we're processing like 10 bits of data. It's like 10 bits of data per second. So this is like our roots is our unconscious thoughts and beliefs, and our fruits is like what we can physically see. So I just wanted to, I know that Lisa, you're driving, so don't do this right now, but if you were to think as you're looking out at what some of your fruits are, so like what some of your goals are, like let's say goals for the rest of the year, maybe even you're starting to set goals for 2019. These are like your fruits. I'm going to invite you to think about what is like a story or a root, essentially, that you want to unplant and we're going to replant a new story. So what's a root in your life, essentially, that's no longer serving you right now? Like that this belief could stop you from having the life, the love, the happiness, the success that you want. So just take a moment. Do you feel like you are clear on what that is? Do you want a minute to just journal on that? Or do you want to talk it out? What would be the most helpful for you right now?
I'm a talker, so since I'm driving anyway, so. Yeah,
since you're talking. Lisa, do you have like any ideas around what, I mean, I know that you take a lot of action and you're making stuff happen, but do you see any roots, habits, beliefs, or stories that you think might hold you back?
Do you think it's things that I'm less confident in, or things that the unsureness of like a goal? Like I can think of one goal for next year, and I think that's probably where I'm least confident because I've never dove into that realm of opening another branch. I'm still under 2 years of my new operation,
Right. So the fruit would be like opening a new branch.
Yes.
So that's one of the fruits that you have. Mm-hmm. And the root or the belief that I'm hearing you say is like, and you know, you can totally correct me if I'm wrong, you know, if it doesn't land for you, but like, can I really do it, or do I have what it takes?
It's about, can I do it so that it has impact, right? Can I do it so that it's not going to fizzle, or if I leave it alone, you know, I get it up and running and then I step away, is it going to still be sustainable and thriving and really accomplish the whole vision of opening new centers? So the first one is kind of the big one, right? That's the one that everything kind of, all the cards are held under that one.
What do you think is your biggest fear around that?
Just a failure. I don't want it to get up and going for 6 months and then completely die.
Mm-hmm. Root. So the fear of failure potentially.
I think it will be the first thing that I do that will take. It's a new step of noticeability, right? It's very visible. It's very. I mean, I'll obviously market the hell out of it. So if it were to die on the vine, that would probably be my biggest, you know, embarrassment, and feeling of failure is not something I obviously like to embark on. So.
Right. So what do you think, as you think about that goal, what story or belief that do you think, essentially, like, what's a new seed or new root that you would want to plant that you think would really help you in this next phase of your business and being more visible and opening up this new branch? Haha, metaphor, branch.
Right. I almost want to uncover what's the one that's making me feel like that, you know, that pit in my stomach is failure there. So, but I'm trying to think of the new approach to it. I guess is just be completely solid. Maybe it's too soon, or maybe I need to have at least 3 years under my belt with the new. You know, I mean, maybe it's a time thing. Maybe it's just a matter of I'm more organically driven by time anyway, and things happen for a reason. So that could be the thing holding me back, is that I'm not, like, I want to do it, but I know that it's probably something that would be, maybe it's an immature move, maybe it's something that's not right to do it. The track record is there, but maybe the track record needs to be, you know, totally solid before, you know, and I know there's the imperfection of perfection and all that, but maybe I just need to have a longer track record with the branch that I have, and then know that it's, you know, like I said, maybe it's a time thing.
Yeah. And what I'm hearing, and I hear this a lot, it's like there's some conflicting beliefs.
Okay.
Like there's part of you that, like, I think there's a part of you that believes like I have everything that I need. And then there's like the fear part is like, maybe I'm not ready yet.
I would say that's the same thing for me.
The having both of those stories, or both of the beliefs of like, I have what it takes, but maybe I don't, or maybe I'm not ready to take this leap, to take this step.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were to, I appreciate you asking that, Lisa. You're like, well, where is that fear coming from? If you were to dig a little bit deeper, what's underlying that fear, even like beyond the fear of failure? What's like a layer below that, or even for you, Jackie, as you think about launching?
It comes up, which is, it's surprising me, so that I like going there with you like this, because the thing that came up for me right there was like, well, I kind of made a big splash. It's about perception. I've made this big splash. I'm obviously getting some traction in the media, obviously attracting really awesome clients. I mean, all the things, right, that are out there, the fruits of my labor are coming to fruition. They're coming alive. They're becoming real, not just hope, right? And so if I were to open up another branch, it's that flat on face, like, oh my God, she isn't the star she thinks she is, or build and grow and think aware that things happen in different ways.
Oh, you're breaking up a little bit.
Sorry. So anyway, it's just that it's the fear of my reputation, of losing faith in the fact that, I've come on strong, and now the next thing needs to be just that much stronger or better.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah. And if you were there may even be a deeper root of like, and the word that's coming up for me is belonging.
Mm-hmm.
What, I'm curious, Jackie, that sounded like it resonated with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think like that connection that you are making with Lisa's really, I think that sounds really in the direction where I also hear that.
What about that part do you fear around the sense of connection, belonging?
Well, I think failure and belonging are so strongly tied together, right? Like if I have this failure, then people won't see me as belonging to this community, and then I'll be rejected, right, and pushed out and isolated. And so all of that sort of is tied into it, which is tied into identity. So belonging, rejection, isolation.
Yeah. Rejection, isolation. And that's one of our main, like, and that's the power of, like, you can keep digging and digging until it's like, Jackie, when you're like, that's the thing. Because if I have this fear of, like, if I put myself out there and it totally bombs, I won't belong. Potentially.
Or just that you have to rebuild the trust, right? You have to rebuild, or you have egg on your face, and now you have to
lose trust in my community.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe even like losing trust in yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you don't try, you won't fail.
Right. And so what do you think would be a new root, like a new thought or belief that would help you take inspired action towards creating that fruit, not out of fear? But what do you think? What did I write? What do you need to believe, or what do you want to believe in order for you to succeed ultimately?
Yeah.
Like, what is a belief that would help you?
I want to believe that it's, I say this to both my kids all the time, is that you have to be patient, and you have to things naturally pop up. They have to naturally be that opportunity that just slaps you in the face and says, hey, this is it right now, but you're instead of like searching for it and always trying to manipulate it or force it, then you're actually just, it lands in your lap like one of those golden opportunities, and it's like, oh. And so maybe it's not, now I'm thinking, now it's not timing, it's just a matter of me having, because I love the idea of just being peace and ease, and having somebody just say, hey, I want this almost as much as I want it for you. I want it for myself, and I want to do this now. And you know what I mean? I imagine almost like that new route is that somebody will just shake me like, Lisa, I'm the one who's going to help you open the next one or whatever. And so now it's like I don't even have to guess. I have to deduce, and I have to use my intelligence, but I don't have to really, I don't have to guess about it or hope for it. I could just go, I could be resolved in it.
Right. And that's like, to me, like that, I love this metaphor so much. It's kind of this like unshakable, unwavering belief and conviction in your vision. And I know like you have that, like I mean, I think it was hard for you to come up with something probably because you believe so fiercely in this. I remember like for me with camp, one of the stories that I would tell myself, like a root that I would continue to plant was, I believe in this more than anyone else. Like I have so much conviction, and that energy is contagious. And that idea, that was one of them. Like that was one of the stories. One of the other ones, like around the failure, because it's like we're all in, like everyone in this group, it's like we're putting ourselves out there. We're being seen, whether it's like trying to get more clients or build a business, build a branch, put something new out there into the world. And like that fear of failure, that fear of rejection, or, you know, the sales call, it doesn't go well, whatever. One of the roots that I've been planting and watering, we have to plant them and water them, is I'm safe no matter what. I am safe no matter what. So that I'm not relying on my sense of safety or security from other people.
Right.
And if I'm safe no matter what, that will bring that peace, that joy, that ease. And if I am getting on the phone with a potential client and I'm safe no matter what, I'm not giving my power away, or I'm not relying on like their yes or no doesn't shake me, or like my tree doesn't fall down, because I'm like, I'm good. And I believe in what I have to offer. I believe in the value. I believe that I am worthy of receiving this money that I am asking for. Anytime it's kind of like, and it's not, there's not conflicting beliefs. There's aligned beliefs. So it's like, if I want to make $100,000, whatever, if I want to make this amount of money, do I have a belief in me that's like, I am worthy of receiving that money fully, wholeheartedly, and completely? And I know that, Lisa, you're really good at the money stories. Like, I think you have really good money stories, so that's not an issue. But it's just like connecting the dots of like, what is the fruit that I want, and what do I need to believe in order for there to be more flow and more energy and more light and more love, versus like, I want this thing, but it feels really hard. And there's a lot of like energy resistance there, versus energy flowing from your root all the way to the fruit. Does that make sense?
It totally does. And I think the thing that I'm thinking of now is that safe is good, but for me, it might be I am loved no matter what.
I am loved no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, people will love you no matter what happens.
Right.
So like,
I mean, it's not about the business anymore. It's about me as a person and me as an entity that loves fiercely. And so I am loved no matter what.
And so from that place, what would be different about how you're showing up? I mean, I know you're showing up so fiercely as in general, but how would that shift or change just your energy or your actions around your business and continue to build and grow?
I mean, then peace and ease and fun and playful and crazy and all of those, you know, crazy in a good way. Everybody is just like, it's like, you know, playpen. I mean, everybody's there. Everybody wants to be there. Everybody wants to be hanging out or doing their thing within a space of love.
I love it. Yeah. Beautiful. I'm just trying to figure out this lighting situation. It's like a little crazy. Okay, cool. Who else would like to? I would love to hear from Jackie and Jill what your new roots are going to be and how that's going to change your fruits. What new roots are you planting today for your success to be inevitable? Who wants to go? And if you need help, like, we can coach, we can work through it.
I don't know. I think that my fear comes from, I think, the success that I'm having in my current job and the path that my life is taking, like with the baby coming on, what will that look like? And how do I sustain it and continue to be successful with all these changes happening in my life? So I think it's maybe still coming down the fear of failing, in a similar aspect of what Lisa was talking about. And so some of the fruits that I want is the motivation and the fulfillment and the relationships. Those are definitely, but I think that comes with, the roots of sort of getting rid of that fear. And so I'm not really sure what I want to, how that can be replaced yet,
What do you think, and we can just like kind of brainstorm too, what beliefs or stories or thoughts do you think would help you feel more fulfilled and more motivated in general? Like what do you think you would need to believe in order for that to be more, for you to have more motivation and fulfillment?
Like that I can have success in both areas. I can continue to have success in the job that I'm in now, and obviously have the success in building this business and still having it and offering it and fulfilling that passion. So
yeah, it's like I can succeed in all areas of my life.
I can try to succeed in all areas of my life.
But and so what if you were to take that concept even like a level deeper, what would need to be true for you to believe that you can be successful in all areas of your life?
Maybe a couple things. Maybe, so my supervisor, my boss, did this activity with us last week where she made us all sit in a circle, and she had sewn us capes, and she had given us all a character and had written why we were that character. And I was Mulan, the warrior princess, and I had a blue cape. And so her whole team, there was like 8 of us, were running around playing games in capes.
Oh my gosh.
And
awesome.
we had to read aloud why we fit that character. And in there she said that she saw me as intelligent. And that was really big for me, because I guess I didn't see her seeing me. That was really reaffirming. And so with that, I think that believing that I have the knowledge to provide the success to the job I'm in now and the business I'm doing, and that was really good to hear that last week, and to hear some of the things. So that I think is something that I have to keep telling myself.
Yeah. And so it's like finding, when you plant that new root, it's finding evidence. It's like building a case for that to be true, and finding stories to it's kind of like every story that reinforces that, right? It's like, it's why I read testimonials or reviews, like when I want to believe that if my story that my root that I want to plant is I have a message worth sharing with the world. And in order for me to believe that to be true, anytime I get feedback from someone, like an audience member, I'm like, okay, I'm connecting that to that root. I'm connecting that to that root so that I'm reinforcing this belief so that I can believe that it's true. Because the stronger that root is, so I guess I get curious, if you really if you really let yourself believe that and you continue to cultivate, water that root, what do you think would shift, change, or be different for you in your levels of fulfillment or motivation?
I think confidence and self-esteem.
Yeah. And so if you have confidence and self-esteem, then what needs to happen?
Oh, I think success is a lot like believing in yourself,
Right.
believing that you can be successful.
Yeah.
And motivation.
Yes. Because if you believe that you can be successful, then it's like way more fun to take action.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's like energy behind it. There's momentum. If I have a root that's like, I don't really think I can do this. How easy is it to like not be not do the thing or not be motivated?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, and I would invite you to like continue to explore that and like find a version of that root that resonates with you, that feels true. And continue to gather evidence of that.
Mm-hmm.
And see how that shifts your energy, your motivation. And like, to me, like, this is the stuff, like, this is the magic sauce to success. It's really, it's knowing ourselves well enough to like, if I'm not taking action or I'm not, having the fruits that I want, really taking a moment to pause of like, what am I believing about myself right now? Or when I'm stuck or like you're feeling unmotivated, it's like, oh, here's that old story. It's being aware of the old story. And then it's like remembering the new one.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we don't have a replacement for that old story will win every time. Because there's already a lot of evidence that you've built up in your head of that story. And we're not going to have time to go into like where did that come from story. But continuing to just build that evidence around these new stories so that you can have the new fruits. Mm-hmm. So I want to make sure we get to Jill here. So what's coming up for you as we're talking about these?
Oh man, a lot. I got made fun of constantly as a kid because I was always the shortest kid in my class, tiniest kid, high squeaky voice. They called me Minnie Mouse. I was the kid who didn't hit 100 pounds until my sophomore year in college. So, I was just tiny. But all of the teasing and everything, it created a lot of social anxiety that, where'd that go? That's, comes back now, even in my 40s. There's a lot of fear, a lot of feelings of unworthiness because of all of that. So I can pretend really well that I'm over it and go into situations and not think about it, but I'd love to be able to get rid of that. Yeah, that's so I've along with the social anxiety, I've just got a fear of, talking to people because how are they going to react? And even now, grown-ass adults feel the need to comment on my size. So it's like, thanks. Never heard that one before. It's
so like anytime something like that happens, it triggers that old belief and reinforces it.
And reinforces that I'm not worthy to be here. I shouldn't be there. Even though now as an adult, I can play it off and joke along with them. But in the back of my head, I'm seeing like, why do you have to be an asshat and joke about that? Yes, you can put your elbow on me. I got it. Good. You're tall. Yay. Yeah. But it does. It brings up a lot of feelings of unworthiness and fear of, being liked, being included.
So what do you think you want to, what's a new story, a new root that you would like to plant that would help you? And maybe sometimes it's helpful to think about like, well, what's a fruit that you'd like to cultivate? Like what do you want instead, ultimately?
What was the words? Someone said it. I thought I wrote it down, but I didn't. Just belonging. That I'm not going to walk into a situation and be made fun of for something that I can't control.
Right. So is belonging a fruit or a root for you?
It's a little bit of both, but it probably goes more on the fruit.
Mm-hmm.
I think. I'm just looking at what I wrote down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the continuously working on feelings of worthiness, the I am statements, the affirmations, kind of retelling my story.
Yeah. So what do you think would be different in your life, just in your energy, if you felt like you belonged no matter what?
Probably just a more open energy, more not walking into situations already, I'm already nervous enough walking into big situations, then adding that on top of it.
Right. So like less anxiety.
Less anxiety, increased feelings of worthiness.
Mm-hmm. So if you felt, what do you want to feel worthy of?
Just being able to be in the same space as people.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm describing it properly, but
no, it's okay.
I get a lot of, "Oh, I didn't see you," and it's being seen as an adult and not a child because I look 20 years younger than I am, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I think this is the piece that I think it's so empowering, because there's things that we're not, obviously, this, right? But we're never in control of whether like people are a-holes or not, or people stupid shit.
Yeah.
And like, if that, like, one of the results or the fruits would be like, when someone says something like that, that doesn't bother me.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if that happens, then I'm just like, okay, like and I would invite you to play with, some of the statements that resonate with you. Some of the ones that I wrote down as you were talking were, I belong everywhere. Yeah. And so like, and honestly, people ask me like, oh, how are you? Like, so, you walk into a room and you just like own it or whatever. And it's like, I belong here. Like, I make friends with anybody, like whatever, like, but it's a belief that I have going into those situations. And there are people that think I'm too much, or I have too much energy, or chill the fuck out, Marley, or whatever. I'm like, cool. Like, I'm not, it's the difference of like me relying on other people for my sense of belonging versus cultivating this like internal belief that I belong no matter what. And that the other one that I wrote down was, I'm worthy because I exist.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, I'm worthy of belonging because I'm human and we all belong. Like, we all deserve to belong. But it's like cultivating that internal like conviction that you belong no matter what, and that your sense of belonging doesn't rely on other people, but that it comes from you. And then for you, you know, and like everyone, and this is just like an invitation to play with this concept, right? Looking for evidence of like, where do you feel like you belong? Like, when do you feel the most, like the highest sense of belonging? Like, where are you? Who are you with? What are you doing? And really like beginning to cultivate that belief in yourself. And when that old story gets triggered, having something to replace it with is so important. Because when our old stories get triggered, we can go down that rabbit hole. You know, if we don't get a client, it's like, I'm not good enough. I knew it. There's proof, you know, things like that. What were you?
Wanted to offer for Jill, I think something I heard is that statement that says, I am enough. And then I would, because obviously I heard a lot of shame coming up. Brene Brown's book, the Gifts of Imperfection, is, I think it has a lot of really good belief statements in there that we could all take from and use some of her belief statements from that book.
I've got them up on my wall.
Yeah. And I just want to honor, like, it does take time, patience, and practice to, I think it's just bringing to the surface, like, being aware of the beliefs that are no longer serving the new version of you. And I think that every day we have a chance to recreate ourselves. And my hope is to, like, these roots are ideally creating like a stronger foundation and this like unwavering belief in yourself and your confidence, so that you can have whatever it is, the happiness, the love, the joy, the fulfillment, the money, the success that you want. But it starts here at the end of the day. We can be doing all this stuff out here, but knowing like, I love asking this question, what are the beliefs that are serving me and what are the beliefs that are stopping me? And how can I cultivate, and like, not from a place of judgment, just from a place of awareness, what are those things and how can I begin to plant those new roots, begin to continue to find evidence of those stories to be true, and becoming more of that and taking action from that place. So that's what, that was our fun-filled class for tonight. I would love to hear quickly, like, we'll just do one go around because I know it's 5 o'clock right on the dot. Biggest takeaway and any actions that you want to take moving forward from tonight. So just a quick, like, 1 minute on that. Takeaways from today, actions moving forward, and or, yeah. Who wants to start? You ready?
I'll say the takeaway was seeing the tree and the roots and the roots to the fruits, and in sort of a way that I feel I can really look at for me and where my sort of beliefs and stuff is. And I guess my action step would be to come up with a good mantra to build that motivation and confidence.
I love it. Beautiful.
I liked the exploration of where, you know, what is the one that doesn't serve me well, because I've done this practice before with different groups, different people, and I'd rather talk about positive, but it just keeps eating at me to think about, well, what is the negative one? What is the one that is the one that I really need to get rid of, right? So
Awesome. Any actions for you, Lisa? I know you're action oriented, so you got a lot that you're working on right now. But I just wanted to write something down if you had something that you wanted.
Yeah, I mean, I think I do this. I think, I always think the least amount, like what's the most conservative, what's the most, because I like to take action, I always try to think of, well, if I could do 2, or if I try to make it a low number so that it's attainable. But actually that's another thing I'm gonna get rid of. I'm just not gonna think about numbers or time frames. I'm just gonna let things organically hit me, and just as they come up, or as they, I think opportunities are there all the time. I just need to be less in my mind about numbers and time frames, and more about those aha moments of just natural progression.
Letting things flow.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Beautiful. What about you, Jill?
I really love the tree metaphor. I've got a picture up on my wall here of a similar type of tree. It says "as above, so below." So that's really speaking to me, and just reminding me that I need to be more consistent with my affirmations and the I am statements and that.
Awesome.
And,
Beautiful. All right, y'all. We'll keep planting those roots, and I will post this video in our membership site, along with the link to that article, along with the link to the image. And then I'll put those in there. And then I would love, like, as you're coming up with those statements, for us to just like put those in there. Those I am statements. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Beautiful people. I hope you have a lovely evening. Sending you all so much love. And we'll talk soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye.